Well, hey everyone. You really needed to get out here and share a testimony. That's the worst thing that the enemy hates is when you're able to take anything that he throws at you and give God the glory for it, right? Because he is worthy of glory and praise. Thank you, Jesus. So, all right, many of us have been going through it. As we have an adversary, right? He comes to divide, steal, and destroy. He's been doing a great job on the families, destroying families and lives, and doing this for a while now, as we're seeing. So we know just how close we are. But then, when you're going through it personally, it's just a little bit different. Each of us handle things different. And as many of this started for me in December when I had an estranged brother that actually we had decided to, make amends, get over all the pettiness, and let's move forward because he had been given a death sentence that he didn't have very long to live. Well, this warrior, went into warrior mode as I had been. And don't ever give up on your loved ones because as I was praying, as the Lord told me many times, that we are their mediators, that we can pray and take authority over the enemy in Jesus' name over them, even if we're not talking or being able to talk to any of our family members, right? So there was a nurse that had been sent to him that has been watching over him all this time. That's actually a believer and quoting, my goodness, my favorite scriptures and speaking life over him this whole time. So, of course, when he called and shared that, I was on a mission and I wasn't going to let the enemy steal my joy, that's for sure. No, despite the outcome, okay? Because it's all good. It's all about Jesus. So, anyways, during that, we find out now that, there was a night that he was taken to the hospital. He was put on life support. He was dead, literally dead. His kidneys were functioning at 12%. He was on a special kind of dialysis machine. He was in a coma. They didn't see any brain activity or whatsoever, and they were just keeping him alive for a little while. That was it. They did not believe he was going to make it for a minute. So, of course, I spoke positive and spent some time there and put out a call to prayer, and you all joined in, and I do believe that the Lord answered that because that very next morning, we got called that, hey, there has been a miracle, and he's turned around, and he's wide awake and functioning. Everything's together. They unplugged all the machines, and we had a wonderful day that day. It was on a Sunday a few weeks ago. Well, then, I hadn't seen my grandsons or my nephews, I apologize, hadn't, for almost 40 years. And my daughters got to see their nephews and vice versa. So it was kind of like a family reunion. I've had many dreams about family reunions as well as others out there, which is going to lead into another dream here that I'm going to share that it turned out to be a reality. Well, all of it's a reality, but, well, we're warned ahead of time, that's for sure. So, being up there that night, seeing that he had brought the family together was encouraging. And I know that at the end of the evening, when he looked at me and said goodbye, I just kind of looked at him and said, no, brother, I'll see you later, alligator. And he gave me the biggest smile. Though we understood each other at that moment, and I understood then that I would be seeing him again. Because that was my main purpose, of course, was to make sure that where his eternity was going to be. So that was the other nurse. That was, oh my goodness, the Lord had done so many amazing things there, right? And miracles, and the doctors, and they were seeing this, and of course, I'm telling everybody who did this, even though he did pass. Um, there's still more to come, I'm sure. So, on top of that, then that night that I found out that he passed, I had fallen. Probably like an hour, probably right around the time that he passed, before I got the phone call. And again, on the same hip that I broke a few years ago, only I had good padding this time. I had a rug underneath it, but it sure did cause me some more pain. But I'm mostly a mess right now, so oh well, that didn't hurt so bad. But I gingerly took care of myself as far as baby steps were concerned. You feel like you're, even if a feather fell on you right now, you like break open, right? So you're trying to keep it together for everything and for all purpose and just holding on to Jesus and pressing him to him. And that's where you get your strength and your joy and your peace. And I could trust him and him alone. So then, um, the other night, I was laying here and I had this dream. I was dreaming that it was kind of like, I guess I want to share, with like a cropolyptic type dream. Nothing that I read or saw triggered this off. In fact, I didn't even realize it was a dream because it felt so real. And you'll understand that in a moment as well. Um, but what I saw was it was all dark. It looked like there was fires everywhere. It didn't look like anything was falling. It looked like there was just fires everywhere. It looked like it looked like slow motion. It was dark and I could see and make out people running. That's it. That's all I saw. But this went on for a while. And all of a sudden, I heard the most loudest explosion I've ever heard in my life because it was right by my head, right by my bed, actually. um, Heard two explosions. That first one was a big kapow, and then after that there was a little smaller one. Um, I'm like, whoa, what is up here? So as I open my eyes and I see about 1.5 feet of flames on the side of my bed. And, well, I knew I was awake then because Molly was so scared. She was pushing herself against me. And I was trying to reach over the end of the bed to see what was on fire and what was going on and trying to wake up and function. And then you get into automatic mode at that moment. There was a whole bunch of, I don't even want to call it smoke, that filled the whole room because the smoke detector didn't go off. And some kind of gas was in here. It smelled horrible. And so I immediately opened the window and turned the fan on. After I was sitting there struggling with this fire, I just took some article of clothing or whatever I had, and I just started pounding on trying to get it out, knowing it wasn't an electrical type fire. I wasn't going to go grab water, right? So as I'm trying to put this out, it's just not going out, and that canister is what was on fire. I had to get that canister out of there. So, well, I went ahead and grabbed it with my hand, thinking, of course, that whatever piece of clothing was going to protect me, but it didn't, so it burnt my hand really good. But I did get the unit into the bathtub until I turned around, and then I realized I got to go, take care of the fire part, right? Well, that's when I saw the worst of it. I saw that behind the nightstand, my goodness, the whole back wall was on fire. And I was like, what happened? So I guess the bottom of this little unit had jumped back behind there. And by the time I got to it, it was like, I thought it was out of control because I'm trying to put that out. And then, knowing I wasn't near any plugs, I dumped probably like 4 cups of water all around it, and it smoldered. And then I'm taking, blankets and big towels full of water and putting them down because you want to make sure that nothing is in the foam or nothing was in the wall and the electrical. I'm thinking of all this stuff. At the same time, I'm thinking, should I call 911? What am I trying to rationalize at the same time? But again, I couldn't find my phone anywhere. So then, well, I ended up, it was 3 o'clock a.m. when this happened. This is no joke. 3 o'clock a.m. Probably 4:30, 5 o'clock before the time I was done with everything. And so I'll show you the pictures here. I guess we could start with my professionalism. Well, it started here, where this is where the unit was sitting on the bottom of my nightstand. Now, what happened at the explosion is the top part of the unit came forward, not the part that I was trying to put out, but the other part went behind it. So this is what I saw and had to pull up, and this is after I started cleaning everything, but you can see where, my goodness, the bottom of that thing burnt right through the carpet and right to the wood, right? And against the wall. So I'm wiping up the wood and stuff. This is what it looked like after I got it in the bag. So then again, like I said, at the same time, I just knew how to grab it with my hand. I didn't have anything around me to grab it with. I did have a piece of cloth, but that was burning up as fast as everything else was. So I just grabbed it, and I had blisters all over my hand here. Now this is like the third day, so things are better. My hand was all burnt so bad and so swollen the next day, but I had grabbed some tea tree oil that was sitting on my counter before I went to bed, and just kind of dumped it all over there. You could see all the blisters, but all the blisters broke. So that went away. But this is after vacuuming. I still have to deal with everything. So then you see that all the wires are burnt up as well, right? And the fire's been put out. And this is what it was. It's a little portable ozone generator. Well, I'd bought this so many years ago on Amazon that, of course, they didn't really care over they were going to reimburse me. But my daughter wanted me to get the name of the company so she could let them know that this is a fire hazard. And she does expect some kind of, taking care of the carpet, plus the fact that I almost died. If this had been downstairs, there would be no way that I would have been able to stop this from spreading. And, or, my goodness, if I didn't have Jesus, this was right on the side of the bed. This didn't catch the bed on fire, drapes on fire, the nightstand on fire, nothing. This was the Lord, okay? He will protect us, as he says. And this thing is a mess. Right now it's still there for insurance purposes, but that's what I saw. I just couldn't believe this. But God, right? So, whatever you got to do, just keep doing it, all right? God will give you the wisdom. I'm just old, and I know, not to douse water on electrical fires. I didn't have any baking soda handy. I didn't have my fire extinguisher up here. Maddie slept through the whole thing. Dora sat and observed, and Molly was scared to death. So running outside a few times and making sure that I could not see any flames coming from the wall, and going downstairs and making sure that there was nothing there as well. Like I said, I sat up from, 3 o'clock at the moment it happened until probably 5:30, 6 o'clock that morning before I went back to sleep. But God, all right? So keep on believing, keep on hoping, keep on trusting. No, the enemy didn't rob me of any joy, even though I fell. Oh, yeah, and at the same time, I fell and hit my head on a coffee table. Probably got a good concussion out of that as well. My goodness, I'm laughing out of, oh my goodness, Lord, you are so good. You are amazing. Because he kept me alive through all this, and he's all I got, y'all. He's all I got. I can trust him only. I got him only. He's here for me only. He's here for you too. Don't be discouraged and don't let him rob you of your joy. Miracles do happen. We just seen one, actually. And I can't deny it. I've seen this stuff before, but I know that it also worked on a few others as well. To see this miracle. Wow, God is so good. And then to see this fire on the side of my bed as I was dreaming, some kind of apocalyptic scene, tells us how close we are. And the fact that in the community I put up the supermoon for tonight. Wow, supposed to be a big one. Wow, everybody, this is going to be good. So hope to see you at the live tonight. But hey, whatever you do, never give up. Never lose hope. Faith. Faith pleases God. And faith is what He's looking for. When He returns, keep on going. No matter what. He will take care of you when you lean on Him, trust in Him, and focus on Him. This is Debbie from Texas saying, peace out and Maranatha. Let's keep looking up because the King surely is coming.